step towards protecting the beautiful forest. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM 부산 영어 방송.
Want to be a friend of BFM 부산 영어 방송? You can chat with BFM through our Kakao Talk service. You can share your messages and photos through Kakao Talk, and you can easily become BFM's Kakao friend by searching BFM through the Find a Friend option. Come share and chat with us at BFM anytime, anywhere for free. Don't forget to add BFM 부산 영어 방송 to your Kakao friends list.
Man, I haven't got a chance. I call
지역 경제가 힘차게 출발합니다. 기업들이 고객을 향해 더 빨리 가려면 방송 광고라는 엑셀을 밟으세요. 경제도 기업도 더 힘차게 달려가니까요. 방송 광고의 작은 힘, 경제의 큰 힘입니다. 부산 방송광고발전협의회.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
How has spring been treating you all? Well, I think generally it's been so pleasant with the warmer weather, but that's me personally, because I have seen people suffering from seasonal allergies. They have to deal with, the sneezing, the itchy or watery eyes, and maybe coupled with a runny nose and even headache. So, how do you dress for a day that begins a little chilly and then it gets like summer hot? And then it gets chilly at night again. Well, let's break it down. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Friday, April 17th on BEFM 부산 영어 방송. Good morning, Wavers. I hope you are all doing well on this beautiful Friday. Any Friday and every Friday is beautiful, is it not? Well, in my book, it is. Anyhow, I was talking about the fluctuating temperatures, the big gap between the lows and the highs. And there is this little window in South Korea where you can see people wearing clothes from for all four seasons. Yesterday, I saw people, at least in the morning, they were wearing the thinner padded coats, the real thin ones, or at least the padded vests. And then, on the other hand, people with T-shirt and shorts on already. But even by South Korea's metric, the month of April has been unseasonably warm. Busan's daytime highs have been in the upper teens, hitting 20 degrees Celsius. But looking at elsewhere in the country, Yangju in Gyeonggi province, for example, hitting a whopping 29.9 degrees Celsius earlier this week. That's almost 30 degrees. Wow. In fact, with the exception of 2 days in April, every other day this month has shown temperatures higher than average. Why are we seeing these early summer temperatures already, and when will this stop? Well, the Korea Meteorological Administration, the KMA, says that this is due to the high pressure front expanding from northeastern China to the East Sea, which has brought in warm air. And on top of this, there is a low pressure front lingering south of the Korean Peninsula, and that is dragging in that humid air, making the heat feel even hotter. You can definitely see the impacts of this. Again, in the fashion sense, some people are leaving their homes in the morning wearing jackets. I'm wearing a jacket, but I don't know. Will this stay on all day long? Probably when I get to class. I'm wearing a short sleeve black t-shirt. I'm going to have to shed layers, right? So stores are already putting out their summer merchandise, including clothing, handheld fans already. And then what about the ice cream? Have you been enjoying ice cream? I did yesterday. So when are we going back to spring-like temperatures? Well, the rain forecast later for today and tomorrow nationwide will cool things down slightly, but things will go right back up during the weekend. So we may have to shake out our summer clothes a little early this year, but at least now we know why. The science behind it. And no, we're not imagining it. It is hot during the day. All right, so speaking of all that, text topic, are you ready? Tell us about your OOTD. Do you know what that is? Yes? No? Do you know? OOTD. I'm going to let you think about that. Okay, no. Okay, it's outfit of the day. What are you wearing? Because I cannot see you. You can see me if you're on our YouTube channel, but do you dress for the cold or for the warmth? Because, you know, the big temperature gaps. 자, 오늘 여러분의 착장은 what are you wearing? And we don't need to know all the details, just generally what you're wearing. 나는 환절기 추위 혹은 더위 중 어디에 맞춰서 옷을 입는 편인가 is what we want to know. And by the way, depending on where you are, because we have listeners from all over, not just here in Busan. Tell us where you're listening from and what the weather is like in your neck of the woods, okay? So we're going to go that way today. I want to hear all about OOTD, where you are, the weather. You can send in your messages to BFM's live stream, live chat on YouTube. Go to the YouTube platform and type in BEFM, 부산 영어 방송, to find our channel. Subscribe, log in, and chat with other waivers. From your phone, pound 9050, shop 9050. That's going to cost you 100 won. Also, you can reach me through Kakao Talk. Add us as a friend, search for BEFM. And then once you add us, you can send in your messages and also photos. So if you want, send us photos. That would be fantastic. If you don't want your face shown, you can edit it or, maybe from the neck down. So you be the judge. Okay. So the ways you can tune into Morning Wave in Busan, 90.5 or 103.3 FM. That's on the radio if you're in the Busan area. We are streaming live on YouTube right now. And you can check out the BFM app or the Papang app. Both are easy to download, free to use. It is Friday, the very last day of this season. So who's coming in today? We have Jian, right? With our local news, we have Haein, Top Stories, hour number 2, Waga Waga Tea Time. Casey's coming for Foreign Press Highlights. We have Andrew Miller, Professor 안교수님, for Global Affairs. That's coming up in hour number 2. And for a special interview today, we're going to talk about AI. Yes, we have been focusing a lot on AI because that is like the thing right now. AI now writes more than humans. Should we be concerned? I mean, really? How often do you use those generative AI sites and you think to yourself, wow, that's pretty good writing? I'm sure we all have, right? Anyhow, we're going to talk about that. That's coming up in hour number 2. I'll be back with news overview. It's now 7:06 and this is News Overview. Israel and Lebanon agree on a 10-day ceasefire. A 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon has begun, as announced earlier by U.S. President Donald Trump. President to attend a UK and France-led meeting on Hormuz. 청와대 confirmed yesterday that President Lee Jae-myung will attend the virtual meeting on the freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz, hosted by the UK and France. He to make state visits to India and Vietnam. President Lee Jae-myung is set to embark on a 2-nation trip to India and Vietnam next week for summit talks to discuss ways to deepen economic ties and expand cooperation in strategic areas. Government says fuel consumption down after price cap. South Korea's fuel consumption has decreased by over 10% since the country implemented a price cap system, dispelling concerns that the system may have pushed up fuel demand. Special counsel seeks 2-year sentence for ex-President Yoon over perjury. A special counsel team yesterday sought a 2-year prison term for former President Yoon Suk-yeol on charges of giving false testimony during former Prime Minister Han Duck-soo's insurrection trial. This was News Overview. It's time for Now in Busan. Jian's here. Let's say hi first. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Yay. Collective cheering. It is Friday.
It is.
Yes, yes. Well, for our YouTube viewers, they can see what our OOTDs are. But can you describe what you're wearing? Because we have many more radio listeners, people who are listening through the app. So what is your OOTD?
OOTD today, I got my favorite cardigan, which is very deep red.
Yeah, it's like a brick red.
Brick red.
Yes.
I call this autumn leaves red.
Ah, in spring.
In spring, yes.
I love it.
Wearing autumn leaves, missing the winter.
Yes, yes. So it's a cable knit cardigan. So for
Right.
our radio listeners, that they can have a better feel. It's very lovely, and it goes very well with your coloring and your lipstick too.
Thank you.
So do you dress, when you dress, like according to the weather, do you tend to dress like, it might get really cold, like in the morning or at night. So do you tend to like wear more layers or bundle up? Or do you feel like, no, I'm going to dress for the cool breeze? What do you do?
Wish I could just wear a t-shirt and saying, I'm cool.
Right.
But I usually wear for the cold. I'm not good at coldness.
Yes, yes, yes. All right. So we are now going to jump into some of our local news. Busan is expanding healthcare support for international students. So what's the key change here?
Yes, Busan City is increasing the number of designated hospitals for international students to 3 so they can get medical help more easily depending on where they live. The idea is to spread access across different parts of the city instead of concentrating services in one place.
Okay, so how is the system being set up?
The city signed an agreement at the Busan Rise Innovation Institute to formally build what it calls a Busan-style healthcare support system for international students.
Okay.
Under this plan, 3 hospitals will serve as regional hubs, one each in the southern, central, and eastern parts of the city, so students can find care closer to where they study or live.
I see. Well, what kind of support will students actually receive?
The focus is on making things easier and more affordable. Hospitals will offer interpretation services to reduce language barriers, along with discounts on consultation fees, health checkups, and vaccinations. Some hospitals are also adding extra benefits. For example, students who take part in volunteer programs can receive up to a 50% discount on medical expenses.
Oh, okay. Well, in terms of accessing these benefits, how can the students do so?
It's simple. International students just need to show their student ID at these designated hospitals, and they will receive the support.
I see. Well, thank you for letting us know about this. All right, moving on to our next topic. A court has issued a ruling in a tragic pediatric emergency case. So, what happened?
A court has ruled that 2 hospitals must compensate the bereaved family after failing to properly respond to a life-threatening emergency involving a 4-year-old child, leading to what's often described as an ER shuffle, 응급실 뺑뺑이.
That's right. So what did the court decide exactly?
The Busan District Court's Western Branch ordered the hospitals to pay about 400 million won, which is 70% of the damages claimed by the family.
So let's go back to the story itself. What went wrong during this medical emergency?
The child had undergone tonsil surgery at a hospital in Yangsan, but later showed bleeding symptoms and was taken to another hospital in Busan.
Okay.
His condition worsened there, but he wasn't properly treated and was instead transferred to a 119 ambulance without sufficient medical records.
That's just terrible. Okay, and then during the transfer, what happened?
Paramedics contacted the original hospital since it was the closest and had performed the surgery. But that hospital effectively refused to accept the patient, saying they were dealing with another critical emergency case.
Wow. So that explanation, though, was it valid?
Actually, no. Investigations later found there was no such critically ill patient at the time, meaning the refusal lacked a valid reason.
So, what happened to the child?
Well, the ambulance had to travel about 20 kilometers to another hospital, and the child never regained consciousness and passed away months later after being on life support.
Right. So, in terms of the court, how did it assess responsibility?
The court found both hospitals at fault, one for refusing emergency care without justification, and the other one for failing to provide proper treatment and transferring the patient without proper care.
I see. Such a tragic case. And so now we have it, the verdict on this. All right, let's move on to our next story. Busan is moving ahead with a new urban railway project in Kijang. So what's this agreement about?
Yes, Busan City is signing a basic agreement with Kijang-gun County to lay out how the two sides will work together on the Cheongwan Line project and keep things moving in a stable, coordinated way.
Yes, and how are the roles being divided between the two?
The city will take the lead on the overall project, including planning, design, and construction, while Kijang-gun County will handle administrative support like sharing costs, handling permits, and gathering local opinions.
Well, the new line itself, can you describe it?
Sure. It's a 12.8 kilometer tram line running from Ulpyeongli in Cheongwan-읍, passing through the Cheongwan New Town area and connecting to Chacheon Station on the Donghae Line.
Yes. And then in terms of connecting with other rail lines, how's that going to go?
It's designed to link with the Busan, Yangsan, Ulsan Regional Railway and the Donghae Line, so transfers will be much easier in that area.
All right. So thank you for letting us know about this urban railway project. Next up, a major marine leisure event is taking place in Busan.
Right.
So tell us what's happening.
Busan City is hosting the 2026 Busan International Boat Show from today, April 17th to 19th at Pexco and along the Suyonggang River together with the Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries.
Right. So what is the main focus of this event?
The show is all about boosting the marine leisure industry and making water sports more accessible. And it's now in its 12th year since it first launched back in 2014.
Yes. And if you visit, what might you see at this exhibition?
At Pexco's Exhibition Hall number 1, 146 companies will showcase the latest in marine leisure, from yachts and boats to communication systems, safety equipment, and fishing gear.
Yes. What about industry programs, though?
There's a business matchmarking program where buyers from 9 countries will meet with companies along with an international conference on the future of the global boat industry in the age of AI.
Yes. And visitors, can they, I guess, test things out or experience things there?
Yes, there are plenty of hands-on activities, including pedal boarding, inflatable boat rides, rowing machines, and surfing experiences. There are also VR-based safety programs and sessions on life jackets and emergency response.
I see. And anything else happening maybe around or outside the venue?
Yes, along the Suyonggang River, visitors who complete a stamp tour at Pexco can get a free yacht ride, and there are also separate yacht experiences available for international visitors.
I see. So if you can, go check that out. Thank you for all the local reporting.
Of course.
For this entire season, Jian. So we do appreciate it. And of course, we'll check in with you on Monday. Thank you, Jian.
I'll see you. Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. I'll be back with your traffic and weather. It's time for a traffic report. First up, there is a vehicle broken down on Gwanmun-daero from Mora at the end of Gaya Overpass. There is congestion on Gwangnam-no from Dongbang 5-way intersection to KBS 3-way intersection. It's busy from Manduk intersection to Dame Expressway Deokjeon ramp. It's also slow on Nakdong-Namno from Gangsa Police Station to Seongsan 3-way intersection. And the top portion of Gwangan Bridge right now, it is starting to slow down. It's currently 12 degrees Celsius here in Busan. Under clear skies, the daytime high will go up to 18 degrees. Rain is forecast starting in the afternoon, so be sure to pack an umbrella. Rain across the southern regions with particularly heavy rain around Jeju, even thunder and lightning. As for the weather, Well, for the weekend, that is. The rain will stop by tomorrow morning with clear, warm days coming back, going up to 21 degrees for both Saturday and Sunday. This was your traffic and weather. It is time for Top Stories, and Haley's here. Good morning.
Good morning.
You look so lovely today.
Thank you. 무슨 말씀이세요? This is my OOFE. Yeah, outfit. No, OFE. I can't. My brain.
Outfit
for an event.
for an event.
Yeah, I've been up since 4 to get this going.
Well, you look very lovely.
Thank you. For our radio listeners, I'm in a full out. Oh, well, my OOTD.
Yes.
I'm in a suit. I am in a suit. I'm not neither dressed for the warmth nor the heat. I am dressed for an event.
Yes, indeed. And you look lovely.
Oh, thank you.
Yay.
Thank you. My face is so heavy.
I have a question though. Do you dress for the cold or the warmth?
I used to run really, really hot, and I used to just not really feel the cold almost at all.
Sure.
But I don't know, is it aging? Is this what aging feels like?
You're in your 30s, girl.
I am, but like, I think it happens in steps though. You don't just immediately hit 65 and you're like, boom, I'm old. But you like progressively feel a little different. Like you feel older. Like I'm not 25 anymore. So maybe it's my metabolism. It's not like working as quickly. So I do feel slightly colder than usual.
I
So
see.
yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm in the middle, but I always do have a scarf in my bag.
Oh, just in case.
Because you got to protect your throat.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Well, we're going to jump into our top stories. We're going to begin with what's been rapidly moving along in the Middle East this morning.
Right. So U.S. President Donald Trump late in the night Korea time announced that Lebanon and Israel have agreed to a 10-day ceasefire that will begin at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So that was 6 a.m. Korea time. And it seems that it has. So this is after he spoke to Lebanon's President Joseph Aoun and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Right.
Again, the ceasefire seems to be in effect.
Yes. And so have both sides confirmed this?
They have. So Lebanese Prime Minister Nawaf Salam says that he welcomes a temporary ceasefire with Israel.
Yes.
And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that this presents a historic opportunity for peace. But it is, however, a quick turnaround for Israel because not only Netanyahu but other leaders have been saying that there is no ceasefire with Lebanon.
Oh, okay. So this could hit at some maybe U.S. pressure or at least influence.
Right, because according to a widely respected Israeli news outlet, they described Netanyahu convening a very impromptu security cabinet meeting with just 5 minutes notice.
Yes.
And that was shortly before that ceasefire announcement was made.
I see. Well, what about Hezbollah?
Right, because we talked about the two sides, but there is a very important third side, and that would be Hezbollah, which is a militia group that operates out of Lebanon, but it is supported proxy of Iran.
Right.
So we do have news that Hezbollah has agreed to abide by the ceasefire, but it is demanding that the ceasefire must include a comprehensive stop to all attacks across all Lebanese territory and no freedom of movement for Israeli forces.
Okay, so that is Israel, Lebanon. What about the U.S. and Iran talks?
Right, so President Trump told reporters that there's been a lot of progress in the negotiations with Iran and that they're apparently very close to a deal.
Right.
But regarding an actual in-person discussions, he said that the next round of talks could take place during this upcoming weekend.
Okay, but not all rosy in terms of projections.
Right, so the sticking point was in round 1, the nuclear development of Iran. And Trump claimed that Iran has agreed to ban the possession of nuclear weapons for at least 20 years.
Okay.
And also agreed to take enriched uranium out of the country, but that part has not been confirmed by Iran. President Trump, though, also threatened to resume the attacks if no agreement is reached.
Yes. All right, we're going to leave those two related stories there. Labor Day Labor Day is coming up soon. It's a public holiday starting this year, and here are some things that we should all know.
Yes, so May 1st, Labor Day is an official public holiday, 공휴일, starting this year.
Okay.
And the Labor Ministry said that employers cannot apply a substitute holiday, 대체휴일, 적용 불가합니다. So previously, Labor Day, as you can tell by the name, only applied to laborers,
Yes.
노동자, who are the ones that are covered by the Labor Standards Act.
Right.
So public officials, teachers, freelancers, you nor I fell under that category. But starting this year, the holiday is now a public holiday. Therefore, everyone takes a day off.
Right, but apparently not all public holidays are built the same.
Right. So legally, how Labor Day is built is different from, say, Liberation Day, for example. 광복절. So holidays like Liberation Day, Memorial Day, these are under the public holiday for public institutions. But Labor Day operates under a special bill on Labor Day.
I see. Well, in reality, what does it mean?
Do you see? Because I don't.
I don't see
I was
it.
like, what does that mean?
Right.
Okay. The big question is, can you substitute this day? Meaning for regular holidays like August 15th, Liberation Day.
Okay.
If your boss, if the boss reaches an agreement with the labor representatives, then they can have their employees work on August 15th or any other holiday and instead take another day off. That's fine. And in that case, you working on August 15th doesn't get you that extra holiday pay because they are substituting.
Okay, but it's different for Labor Day.
Right. So in this particular case, the substitution does not apply because of that law. There's a law that stipulates a very specific day, May 1st, for a paid holiday, especially given the labor nature of Labor Day.
Right.
We want people to get paid extra if they're working on Labor Day. So, what does that mean? If you are working on Labor Day, May 1st of this year, you can get up to 2.5 times for extra holiday pay. And by the way, we know there's always that exception for small businesses with 5 or under 5 employees, but there's an exception to that exception here, meaning they have to follow. They must abide by the Labor Day law in terms of this being a paid day off. So just because they didn't go into work, you cannot deduct that from their pay.
Okay.
However, for these smaller businesses, if employees, they do work on Labor Day, they don't get extra pay. Unless your boss is being nice, but the boss of that 5 or fewer people businesses, they're not required to give that extra holiday pay. Yeah.
Okay.
So
do we get
that's,
paid? Oh, we do. Yes. Just confirming. It's on air. You can't see her, but she nodded.
She's our labor rep, I think. I guess.
피디님, she didn't say verbally. She's like, so we don't have it on camera. All right, we're going to move on. Retail investing has become a job in of itself, and in South Korea recently, making this new category of like new money. And this begs the question, who are these people?
Who are you and
Yes.
where are you investing?
Yeah,
Give
and
me
where are
your
you?
tips. So like
Yes.
new money. So
Yes.
those who are under the age of 60, so 59 or younger, who have made over 1 billion won in financial assets in the last 10 years. So kind of a third of them were retail investors on the side. So they're moonlighting. They had a job, have a job, but they're doing extra.
Sure.
So this is according to Hana Bank's 2026 Wealth Report.
Okay.
The average age of such new money, 51 years old. 30% had salaried positions or were public officials. So again, they were just kind of regular day-to-day office workers, but had an extra boost on the side. 24% were business owners, 23% professionals or had specialized jobs.
Okay.
The report called these individuals K-Emilies. What?
Emilies?
Everyday millionaires. E plus millionaire Emily's. By the way, this term is everyday millionaire, is coined by an American author, Chris Hogan.
Yes. So tell us more about what these K Emilys look like. 'Cause
Right. Who are you? Emily,
are we?
who are
No.
you? No,
Yes.
no, my name is Haley, not Emily. Their annual income came to 580 million won
Right.
with an average of 2.6 billion won in financial assets.
Right.
They were congregated around Seoul and Bundang, specifically in Gyeonggi province, 64 of them. 83% own their own homes. Go figure.
Yeah.
They did get their initial investment funding, the seed from savings, but they actively sought out stock investments, and their plan this year specifically was to lower their investment in real estate and kind of put that towards more further investments in stock markets.
Right. And, whether jokingly or not, people always have, these dreams. We dream of becoming millionaires, do we not? But we have to be cautious when we invest, right?
Right. So we're going to turn to another facet of the story, specifically young men. And I say young men because these are conscript soldiers in the military have apparently been losing their salaries. Not only that, going into debt with poor investment. So this is according to the Financial Services Commission, the FSC, which plans on revising the law to have the defense minister be able to name members of its Financial Education Council or 금융교육협의회.
So what exactly is the Financial Education Commission?
Right. So this is a body under the FSC that has 25 members or fewer nominated by the FSC, but also the Fair Trade Commission, the Finance Ministry, as well as Ministries of Education, Interior, Health, Employment, and Gender. So they're adding the Defense Ministry onto that roster.
I see. So education and finance ministries make sense when it comes to financial education, but you just mentioned the defense ministry.
Right. So we do have to go into who needs this? Well,
right.
We all need that education. I want to sign up too. But who needs that education? Seemingly young men with conscript soldiers in the military. Because nowadays, soldiers can use their smartphones, right? And their salaries have gone up significantly to 750,000 won to 1.5 million won, depending on your rank. So therefore, because, they have their food and lodging paid for, they have that extra cash laying around. There's been an increase in cases of soldiers investing maybe unwisely, including in leverage or crypto.
Yes.
And some losing money.
Yes. So how serious is this?
Right. So the FSC surveyed over 30 loan sharks, not banks, not even credit unions, but, the tertiary borrowing, lenders, loan sharks. As of last year, soldiers collectively owed 44.4 billion won. Again, very high interest.
Right.
And the Credit Counseling and Recovery Service, 신용회복위원회, spent 10.2 billion won last year to help debt for soldiers.
Wow. So this is part of, the efforts to increase financial literacy for young men, right?
Very important. So the financial authorities are hoping that having someone with the necessary background, i.e. from the Defense Ministry, will help with this. So one official said that for conscript soldiers, they do have a steady source of income for at least 18 months, but have little to no public education on investment, leading to the need for financial literacy.
I see. Well, I wish they had this mandatory for all young people.
I know.
Like third year in high school, I think it should be mandatory.
After 수능, it's got to be this.
Yes. All right, next, I hear you have some figures of the state of digital sexual crime.
Unfortunately, I do.
Yes.
So, a little snapshot. The vast majority of victims were young people in their teens and 20s, and AI-based deepfake contents were the biggest culprit for digital sexual crimes.
Okay.
This is according to the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family, also the Women's Human Rights Institute of Korea. Their report is actually getting released today, but we got a sneak peek of it.
Okay.
The ministry's Digital Sexual Crimes Victim Support Center last year provided support to 10,637 victims, and the help ranges from counseling and consultations, deleting said contents, legal and medical support, but 90%, so the vast majority, was in getting these contents deleted.
Yes, I'm sure. I hear there's an interesting pattern in the victims.
Right, so of the total victims, the number of new victims actually decreased by 10% compared to the previous year.
Okay.
However, the number of persistent or repeated victims increased by 26%. So what does this say about digital sexual crimes? The nature of these crimes, where the contents tend to spread. They get spread onto different sites repeatedly.
Yes. Okay.
So then there's a need for longer-term support for the victims. Also, gender divide, 75.4% of the victims were female to 24.6% men. So as I said, over 77% of the victims were in their teens and 20s.
Yes.
Showing this is not to victim blame, but just the statistics of how longer or more exposure online could increase the risk of, by nature digital sexual
yes.
crimes.
Yes. Well, let's talk about the perpetrators.
Right, so 29% were unknown or unidentified.
Right.
And then 28.4% passing relations, 19.8% strangers. So these tended to be from people that the victims didn't know. This speaks to the anonymous nature of online crimes. So with this randomized nature, 27.7% of the victims suffered from anxiety over the potential of these pictures or videos spreading.
Of course.
So again, with there being 45 times more cases of women victims for deepfake related content and 5 times the victims for the spreading of such content, it shows that these crimes are focused on women's bodies and faces.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you for going over all the top stories and another great season down for, of course, our news segment. And we'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you, Haley.
See you in a bit.
All right, it is time for a little song break. So here it is. This is Pumseng Pumsa by Jack's Kiss. time for Foreign Press Highlights. We have Casey here. Yay! It's Friday.
Good morning. Good
it's
morning.
Friday every time you come in, so
It is.
I'm
And it's
always
like,
happy to see you.
I know like Easter has passed, but that's like a very like seasonal Easter color you got over there.
It's like I call it my lemon, yellow, pale yellow jacket.
Nails to match?
Oh, I didn't even notice. Wow.
You have put it together, girl.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Wow,
That was cool. You played that
so-
off like you didn't think about
No,
that.
I didn't. Because I've had the nails for like
This
over a
wasn't last night. You're like, you know what? Lemon.
No. I've had the nails for about a week. But hey, today, text topic, which is perfect. What is your OOTD? Can you describe it for our listeners and viewers?
Or what?
Your OOTD. Casey, how old are you? Oh my gosh.
Did I just date
Ade.
myself?
Yeah.
OOTD? I have no idea what that
Outfit
means.
of the day.
Oh, outfit of the... OOTD?
What are you
For
wearing?
real?
Yeah, like what are you wearing? Describe what you're wearing.
Oh, right now?
Yes, because we have viewers on our YouTube channel, but of course we have many more through radio and the apps and whatnot. So
I think I'm the opposite of spring today. I'm a fall color. Just random. I was like,
it's like
yes.
a burnt orange.
Yeah. Oh, ochre. I'm going to go ochre.
Oh yeah, ochre is good.
Would you say?
Yeah, I like that.
I just like that word.
And then what are
I
you
never get to
wearing
use
on
that.
bottom? You don't have to stand up.
I am wearing
Pants.
jeans.
Okay.
Yes. I'll go with American English pants.
With jeans.
For our
yes.
British listeners, I'll say trousers. I'm wearing both.
Yes.
And gray. I like gray. Gray jeans are my thing these days. I don't know.
Really?
Is it weird?
No, gray jeans are cool.
Yeah, you think they're all right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
No.
I don't see the kids out there wearing the gray jeans.
But now you know OOTD. That's what it means. Okay.
I have to remember that.
Okay.
Oottada. Got it. Okay.
All right. So we're going to jump into our stories about Korea,
Yes.
but from the perspective of foreign outlets.
That's right.
Yes.
And so what we're going to talk about first today
Yes.
is this is something I've actually thought about before this incident happened.
Okay.
But finally, we get the answer to what I feel is an age-old question.
Yes.
What happens when an influencer goes to jail?
Oh, what does happen?
Well,
are we
we'll-
talking about
Yes.
then we need to do the segment like this, both of our arms up. Not happy with the situation, yeah.
I mean, it's hard not to be judgmental when reporting on such issues, especially like when you live in a place and as, let's say, a foreign national who lives here.
Yes.
And then when you see somebody come here and then insult it, so...
I cringe.
Yeah, it's cringeworthy.
Yeah.
It's cringeworthy.
I go, wait, please stop. Yes.
Right. So the headline is South Korea jails American YouTuber for public nuisance. And that hurts for two extra reasons.
Okay,
because
okay.
in the headline, it kind of lumps, as an American...
That's why the cringe.
I mean, especially so, right?
Yeah.
So in case you're not familiar, American live streamer Johnny Somali, who caused outrage in South Korea by kissing a statue representing World War II sex slaves, has been sentenced to 6 months in jail. So I think the big takeaway from this, especially as people increasingly make their living streaming online,
Yes.
do a little research before you go to another country, I think is like the big takeaway. Like, because you don't want to end up as a headline like this.
And you know what? It's not only doing the research, but like when in Rome, right?
I mean, yeah.
Follow
Well,
the Roman laws. Right?
Yeah, I think that might have to be taught in schools because there's certainly no consideration for what to do when in another country and trying to be appropriate in this person's situation
But you
at
know
all.
what? He knew what he was doing. I'm sorry, but he knew.
And that's kind of So in his defense.
Okay, in his defense.
They do say in the article, in November 2024,
Okay.
25-year-old Ismail Ramzi Khalid, which is his real name, he did apologize for posting a video of himself kissing and lap dancing a statue of a young woman that represents victims of sexual violence in Asia. Not just in Korea.
Right.
And I can't imagine thinking of a possibly worse idea to do to that particular statue.
Than that.
But he said he didn't understand the significance of the statue, and that is a huge mistake because it does represent an estimated 200,000 women around Asia, not just here in Korea, but including China, the Philippines, Indonesia, and Taiwan. And
Do you
as you
believe
said,
it?
well, I'll reserve judgment. The Guardian says many users expressed skepticism of his sincerity. When you're accused of a crime, don't go out while this is being investigated and then challenge locals to fight and then be caught on video doing that, where
Right.
there are several videos on social media of him being punched and chased in the streets. He's also caused scenes on public transportation here,
Right.
vandalized a convenience store, and streamed obscene videos in public. And that might have something to do with people questioning his sincerity.
Yeah, I mean, all the antics that he was up to for the streams, basically.
Right.
I mean, he was
Right.
trying to make money off of this, off of his behavior.
And I assume that was the goal. If like not at least, attention at the very least, I'm assuming that was a main motivator before money maybe even came into play.
Sure.
But he's only got 5,000 followers, the article points out. So it's like a lot of public shame.
For what?
For 5,000 followers. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand the concept, but this is not the only place he's done this as well.
Right, I remember. Where else did he create this havoc?
In 2024, the same year he got in trouble here, he was also detained at a protest in Tel Aviv, Israel, for making inappropriate remarks towards a female police officer.
Right.
Lucky to escape that, unscathed, I think. He did go to jail but was released. In Japan in 2023, he taunted local people there with, among other things, comments about the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki during World War II. And he was later fined 200,000 yen after disrupting a business and a restaurant. By playing loud music. So again, you mentioned the when in Rome concept. Some people clearly have no idea how to be appropriate.
I just think that that's beyond, it's just beyond me why he does this. But I just, in my personal opinion, I feel like he's doing it, he's being outrageous because it gives him attention.
Yeah, attention for sure. I mean, that must be a part of it.
You can feign ignorance here and say, "Oh, I didn't know."
I mean, he did. He said that. But at this point, after so much behavior, the Japan incident, for example, clearly he knew what he was talking about to people to be offensive.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but I mean, if the thing is to get attention or even to get financial compensation for this. It's kind of not working. As we mentioned, he's only got 5,000 followers on one platform.
Okay.
He's been banned from several other platforms. So it's well, how are you going to get any more followers or create content at some point, right? And the thing is, too, since November 2024, even though he's just recently been sentenced,
right.
he hasn't been allowed to leave South Korea.
Ooh.
So that's been quite a while to think about, what he's been up to. Do you think that's enough time to kind of reconsider your life plans? And
I hope so.
You hope so.
Just generally speaking, not speaking about him specifically.
Personally, but
I
yeah.
just hope that, if you have had time
over a year
to reflect, and also to be sincere if you are remorseful, that is. So what has he been actually sentenced for?
So this past Wednesday, he was actually sentenced specifically for multiple charges, including being a public nuisance and also distributing sexual deepfakes, which, I didn't realize that was a part of the things he was being...
Wait. So he was convicted of distributing sexual defects, and what was his sentence?
Right, okay. So the sentence is 6 months. So the court did have a comment on that. They said the defendant repeatedly committed crimes against unspecified members of the public to generate profit via YouTube and distributed the content in disregard of Korean law. Sounds very serious.
Yes.
But they did say also he only received 6 months instead of an intended 3-year prison sentence. And he's being barred from working with organizations that serve minors and people with disabilities when he is eventually released. Yeah, that is a good question.
Right.
Why
6
only
months for
6
deepfake.
months? So fair question. But,
Just saying.
if you're going to do things that are controversial.
Yes.
And you even have a fairly confident feeling about what the legal status of this in your own country, you should probably do a little legal research before you go somewhere else.
Right. Or else just face a consequence.
Yeah,
You're
or
gonna
that.
have to.
Or that.
Yes.
And and I can't imagine can you erase this from your life easily after, you know what I mean? This is such a public record.
Right. Who knows?
Yeah.
We're going to move on and talk about our next story. So what is this one about?
Well, this one is about something that was very big in the news recently and has come to a conclusion.
Okay.
Were you aware that there was a wolf on the loose in South Korea?
Yes.
Okay.
I was aware.
Okay, I wasn't aware until recently. I was like, what?
Oh, okay, so?
This comes from the BBC. And the headline is, Howl Recordings and an AI Image Inside South Korea's Long Hunt for an Escaped Wolf. And that kind of says it all. The BBC wasn't the only source covering this. There were a few others as well.
It was a big story.
I mean, yeah.
Where have you been, Casey?
That's a good question. like
busy.
Friday's my kind of day to catch up and be like, what's been going on? And this was reported in Open Magazine. The runaway wolf South Korea can't catch. Modern Ghana. How did a wolf become a fugitive in South Korea? So it's been covered like all over the place.
Apparently.
And I watched there's an attached video with the article from the BBC. And basically, it's kind of documenting a series of like near misses. And the video is like, it's like a thermal imaging camera from overhead. And
what's its name? Can you tell
Nuku.
Nuku.
Nuku. It's a cute name.
It is.
And I guess Nukde is wolf, right? So
Yes.
yeah, so I've read a lot of children's books. It always seems to be Nukde involved.
I wonder what's the ku for? Do we know?
I don't know.
We don't know.
It's just kind of cute sounding to me, right? And he's young. He's like only 2 years old, and he escaped from a Daejeon zoo last week. And in the particular video that you see on the BBC, it's like he's, you can clearly see there's a wolf moving through a forest. It's, that like predator-like looking image, right? And it's just like suddenly he walks out of frame and you're like, what happened? The drone battery died. So they had to change the drone battery, and then that gave him time to escape.
Oh, no.
So it's been like that kind of thing.
Okay, but I hear that we have some sort of update or conclusion because he was on the lamb.
Yes.
Get it, wolf on the lamb?
Nice pun.
Yeah.
Well
so
done.
he was on the run.
Yeah, he was on the run, and he has been successfully captured and returned to the zoo as of midnight. Last night he was from
This
12...
is breaking news.
Breaking news.
We
What's
bring
up?
you fresh news.
That's right. Thank you, PD. From 12:15 a.m. to 12:44 this morning, right overnight.
Wow.
He was actually captured successfully. It was.
Thank goodness. I'm so
Yeah.
glad he was not like put down.
This was a big concern. They mentioned this in the article as well as others. Like this particular zoo had a puma escape in 2018 named Porongi, which did have to be put down. And so even the president weighed in on this.
Oh.
Yeah, even President Lee Jae-myung wrote.
What did he say?
He wrote, I hope no human casualties occur, and I pray that Nuku also returns home safely.
Aww.
So yeah, this was actually a big concern because one thing is, he is a wolf, but he's not a wild wolf. So it's like, what is he going to be able to eat? So
because he's been in captivity for his entire life.
Right. So he has like basically no hunting experience. So people are like, he must be getting hungry. The authorities like closed a elementary school in the local area as a precaution.
Just in case.
Yeah. So it was like, well, it was time was ticking. So, but yeah, it was just like a case of near misses, and this is a good lesson going forward. I think it's probably been a while since there's been a wolf on the lamb, as you said, in Korea.
Right.
But anytime there's this kind of situation, there's going to be a lot of information coming in. So authorities were looking for cooperation. Some things to not do.
Okay, so don't do. Okay, what?
Apparently one resident was like, hey, I've got a wolf dog. I'll help you, track down the wolf, but he didn't consult authorities before showing up with said wolf dog.
Oh, really? He brought
hey guys,
the wolf
I'm
dog.
here. Like, perhaps if you have the idea that you can be helpful, contact the authorities first and be like, do you actually need my help? Can I help you in any way before you just show up?
Okay.
There were a lot of reported sightings, including some from some elementary school kids who were like, we saw Nuku. Turns out they saw dogs.
Aww.
So, everybody wants to help.
I get it. And then I hear there were more than 300 firefighters and police officers and military troops looking for Nuku, right?
So that means there were a lot of people involved in the search. Will you be the one person who turns it around with your wolf dog? The odds are no.
No.
So sometimes it's perhaps best to kind of stay home in that situation and let the authorities try to handle it.
Yeah, let the experts do their thing.
Right. And like you said, there were 300 people involved. There was technology involved. They did take some reports from people as well. There was
credible reports, I'm sure.
Yes, there were some credible reports. They did spot him on a mountain, which was close to the zoo. So okay, he's still in the area. And that was helpful, apparently, in actually being able to rescue him.
I'm just glad that it didn't go down like it happened with the other puma.
Yeah, right. And I'm also a little bit concerned for investors. Were you aware that there was a Nuku meme coin that...
Oh, really?
Yeah, over the space of 10 days, some guys were like, all right, let's make a Nuku meme coin. And according to the BBC article, which is a few days old now, they said there is a trading volume of around $150,000 revolving around the Nuku meme coin. So do you think trading has kind of come to a halt?
Probably. And they're like, darn, he was caught. I'm happy he's caught.
Well, you know what?
He's safe.
It's interesting. They say the meme coin was kind of a symbol of how Nuku is a symbol of independence and a wolf that wouldn't stay caged.
Oh.
The branding is all out the window now.
Okay. Well, very interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks for another great season. Will Casey be back? Will you see more of Keke?
KK. KK better update the wardrobe then.
So
come back.
we shall see. If you're curious as to whether Casey makes it or not. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, Casey. Thanks
Exciting.
for another great season.
No
Take care.
Casey meme coins, please, though.
Okay, no.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we're going to say goodbye to Casey for this week, for today, and get to our final song for hour number 1. It's Friday. Here it is. PD님 좋아요. Blame It on the Boogie by the Jacksons.
3. 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전. 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
Welcome to BFM.
어서 오세요. BFM입니다.
An all-new BFM is coming to you with a new season on April 20th. Meet the all-new For My Busan every day from 4 to 6 p.m. Join our Talk Avengers for their chats, a playlist created by you, the listeners, and the producer on the ground to meet the people of Busan. See you at 4 p.m.
손님, 주문하신 키즈 프로그램 추가해드렸습니다.
Bring your kids to BFM Kids Club. Watch your kids' English skills grow as they have fun with storytelling, sing-alongs, and much, much more. Every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Come play in English.
다음으로 올스타 잉글리시 준비됐습니다.
Every Friday at 6:08 p.m. A new and improved All-Star English with a new guest and new contents every week.
더 다양해진 이야기, 신선해진 구성으로 여러분의 일상에 즐거움을 더해드립니다. 끼룩!
BFM's new spring season comes to full bloom on April 20th. Fill your day with BEFM. For details, check out the BFM website.
지금 방송 광고라는 부메랑을 던져보세요. 소비자를 향해 정확히 날아가는 광고. 힘차게 돌아가는 경제. 부메랑처럼 다시 기업의 이익으로 되돌아오니까요. 방송 광고, 경제에 큰 힘이 됩니다. 부산 방송광고발전협의회.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
Welcome back, everybody. This is 8 o'clock Spotlight News. Israel and Lebanon agree on a 10-day ceasefire. A 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon has begun, as announced earlier by U.S. President Donald Trump. Israel and Hetzbollah, an Iranian proxy group operating in Lebanon, were seen exchanging fire in the hours leading up to the truce. Iran has welcomed the ceasefire but insisted that Israel must withdraw from Lebanon and for displaced residents to be able to return to their homes. President to attend UK and France-led meeting on Hormuz. Cheongwon confirmed yesterday that President Lee Jae-myung will attend the virtual meeting on the freedom of navigation and the Strait of Hormuz hosted by the UK and France. A Cheongwon official said that the president decided to join the meeting as the free and safe passage through Hormuz is in everyone's interest, including that of South Korea. The meeting is expected to take place late Friday, Korea time, with participants from 70 to 80 countries and international organizations. It is unclear if leaders from China or Japan will attend. He to make state visits to India and Vietnam. President Lee Jae-myung is set to embark on a two-nation trip to India and Vietnam next week for summit talks to discuss ways to deepen economic ties and expand cooperation. Lee will depart on Sunday for a three-day visit to India and hold talks with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi on Monday and head to Vietnam on Tuesday to hold talks with President To Lam. National Security Advisor Wee Sung-nak said that with the visits, the country will open a new chapter in economic cooperation with India and strengthen mutually beneficial cooperation with Vietnam in key sectors. Government says fuel consumption down after price cap. South Korea's fuel consumption has decreased by over 10% since the country implemented a price cap system, dispelling concerns that the system may have pushed up fuel demand. An official from the industry ministry said that the gasoline sales between the fourth week of February and the second week of April went down 11% compared to the same period last year, and diesel down by 7.1%. The official also projected that while the Middle East crisis has caused some setbacks to the country's crude oil supply, there won't be problems in bringing in crude oil to South Korea through the month of May. Special counsel seeks 2-year sentence for ex-President Yoon over perjury. A special counsel team yesterday sought a 2-year prison term for former President Yoon Suk-yeol on charges of giving false testimony during former Prime Minister Han Duck-soo's insurrection trial. The Cho Won-suk special counsel said that Yoon gave the false impression that the cabinet meeting he convened before declaring martial law in December 2024 was planned before Han's suggestion. Yoon insisted in his final statement that he had the intention to convene a cabinet meeting, but that it was difficult to call on all members for security reasons. The Seoul Central District Court will make its ruling on May 28th. This was Spotlight News. It's time for a special interview on this Friday morning. In 2025, artificial intelligence reached a major turning point. For the first time, machines produce more written content than humans in a single year. This is based on data from Brett Winton, chief futurist at ARK Invest. He estimates that by the late 2020s, the total amount of AI-generated text could exceed all human writing from the past 500 years combined. And what started as a tool to assist writing has quickly grown into something much bigger. So today, AI is producing a large share of the content we read online. And this shift is happening faster than many expected. Well, what does this mean for the way we write and, more importantly, the way we trust what we read? Well, we're joined by an expert today to discuss this further. Joining us today is Professor Heidi Julian, Professor of Information Science at the University at Buffalo, with research focusing on digital literacy and information behavior. Hi, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes, so Professor, to begin, can you briefly explain what writing in the AI era and the context of this means?
Well, it depends what angle you're taking, because don't forget that what AI is producing is simply probabilistic text. There's no intelligence behind that. There's no actual intent other than text extrusion, if you like. So from that point of view, the context is a lot of text, some of which is vaguely interesting to read, most of which is stolen from other people's ideas, what they've written from all kinds of sources, valid and not. But from the point of view of the writer, the AI writing context is highly problematic. Even people who purport to use AI only for idea generation are doing themselves a significant disservice. We know that cognitive ability and writing ability declines for people who make use of these technologies. And in the end, what we get is an awful lot of slop.
Ah, that slop, yes, is so pervasive these days. What does this shift mean for the way we access and use information? Because whether we write for, let's say, daily tasks, or whether it's for work, or whether you're a writer, you do it for a living, I mean, it really has changed, hasn't it?
Well, it's changed for some people. There are many people who choose not to use those technologies because they value what they write and they value the ideas that they generate themselves. And the the phrasing that they bring to those ideas for the benefit of others. So it's not a set of technologies that are inevitable. It's not a set of technologies that is ubiquitous. And I think that we actually have a choice on whether we make use of these technologies or not.
Yes, yes. Well, there are projections by the late 2020s. AI could generate more text than all human writing for the past 500 years combined, as I said in the intro. How should we interpret this, whether it's exact or not, this projection, the fact that this will likely happen, something similar to this in the future?
Well, what does that really mean? So a lot of text gets produced. That doesn't mean it's worthwhile text. It doesn't mean that it's particularly interesting or useful or beneficial to the world. It certainly hasn't been created originally, in original sense by human. And as I said, it's at base, it's theft of other people's ideas and words from all kinds of sources.
Yes, yes. And in terms of the AI-generated content, as that definitely seems to be increasing right now, how can we as lay people distinguish what information we can trust and not trust?
It's actually almost impossible. It's very, very difficult to discern what has been produced by AI technologies and what has not. We used to be able to have the ability to tell the difference. There were some telltale signs. There are still some small ways in which we can try to discern what's been produced artificially or not, but it's almost impossible. So it's very, very difficult. But that said, when I read AI translated work from one language to another, very often it's very poorly done. It's hardly readable, and it's very obvious.
Right, right. I thoroughly agree with you, Professor, on that point in particular, because AI misses the nuance and the context of a particular language or culture, and is just definitely not on par with human beings. With so much content that is created by AI, what do you think are some of the biggest risks? So can you go over them again and maybe add a few other ideas?
Well, the biggest risk, I think, for writers is that they lose their skills. I think it's as soon as writers start depending on these technologies, they become cognitively lazy, to be honest. And I think the risk for the world at large is that we get a lot of text produced that really doesn't have human intelligence or human values or human feeling behind it. And I think that is a risk for people. We interpret the world through writing with the understanding that it's people behind that writing, that it's a person with a perspective and a point of view. And if it's a machine, it's not intelligent. It doesn't have a perspective. It doesn't have a point of view.
Yes, yes. And now that AI, the technology is behind writing not just articles, but also stories, creative works. Do you think that people judge or value AI written content differently when it comes to literature? Do you think people are very cognizant of this?
Absolutely. And publishers certainly take notice when it becomes obvious that work has been produced by an AI. People get their hackles up, and it's not considered acceptable creatively. Now, in some contexts, it might be, but to pass off AI generated creative content like that as something that's been produced by people is not acceptable, and people are not happy about it.
Right, right. And in terms of protecting creative people, especially for writers who do this for a living, and of course for lay people as well. But how can we better protect this creativity, this original work? What do you think, Professor?
Well, I think that we have to push back against the discourse of inevitability. None of this is inevitable. All we're doing is enriching some billionaires in Silicon Valley. And there's absolutely no need for us to be saying yes to all of it. We can say no, we can push back, we can choose not to engage in these technologies.
I see. And for a final question, for us, lay people, what can we do to become more critical, to become really informed readers of other people's writing in this, at least for now, this AI-driven world?
Well, I think learning exactly what these technologies are and what they do, and not simply buying the marketing that gets produced by these AI companies, recognizing that we are being told, and asked, insisted upon to use these technologies, and without any critical notion of what the outcome might be. And something we haven't touched on is the environmental implications of all of this. They're horrendous. The effects on the environment, the water use for the data centers, the power use. It's a huge problem that needs to be seriously considered when thinking about these technologies.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you so much for coming on air with us, Professor, and shedding light on this important issue. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
This is Professor Heidi Julian, and we talked about, in this era of AI, as she put it, putting out lots of text, which is not the same thing as actual creative writing, and the fact that many writers, or ideas at least, are being stolen from by these AI systems. That was our special interview, and I'll be back with your traffic and weather.
Good morning.
Good morning.
굿모닝입니다.
Good morning.
좋은 아침입니다.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan. Major news, local buzz, and expert takes. It's all here on Morning Wave in Busan. Brighten up your morning commute with Morning Wave in Busan.
Morning Wave in Busan.
It's time for your traffic report. It's now 8:14 on this Friday morning. It's congested on Manduk-daero from Manduk Catholic Church to Manduk intersection right now. There's some backup on Jungwang-daero from Chwacheon Three-Way intersection to Yeongju intersection. And that top portion of Gwangan Bridge is busy right now. It's currently 14 degrees Celsius here in Busan under cloudy skies. It's going to go up to 18 today. There is rain in the forecast, so pack an umbrella. So speaking of that rain, it's going to come down in the southern regions with particularly heavy rain around Jeju, and you can expect thunder and lightning. As for the weekend, the rain will cease by tomorrow morning with clear, warm days making a comeback, going up to 21 degrees Celsius for both tomorrow and Sunday. This was your traffic and weather. And this is Wonderwall by Oasis.
Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. Backbeat, the word is on the street that the fire in your heart is out. I'm sure you've heard it all before, but you never really had it out. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. There are many things that I would like to say to you.
It's time for Waga Waga Tea Time. Haley's back.
Hello.
Welcome back. So let's jump into some of our stories today. Let's get some tea ready. I've talked about this unseasonably warm weather in the opening, but there has been this forecast going around online saying it's going to rain for the entire month of June. I've heard it from multiple people. You need to fact check this. Is this true?
So between top stories and now, I was doing my due diligence, scrolling on the socials for this segment. Even saw like 역대급 장마철. And I clicked on it. And here's the thing.
Yes.
Fact check, it's false.
Okay.
Because you don't know. So there's been this post circulating, the one I just saw, unprecedented rain season this June or July. How it's going to be raining. The one that I just saw, all month of July and like half of June. Previous ones said like all of June. So some posts go even very specific, giving details like exact window for specific regions. But here's the thing. The authorities, the Korea Meteorological Administration, 기상청, the KMA, they say this is not an official forecast from the KMA.
That's right. So I want to ask about this post. So what is this post that we've been seeing everywhere?
Well, that's the thing. We're not really sure. It just kind of popped up. It seems to be a reprocessing of the data for the rain season from 1991 to 2020.
Okay.
So we're not saying this is pseudoscience or it's
yes.
you know false, but it is not official data. And it also exaggerates, making it sound like it's going to be raining all month long, which usually doesn't happen. Yes, June is rainy season, but doesn't mean we're getting rain every single day or like 24 hours straight. Again, this is fake news by definition, but it is something we do see year after year.
That's right. And actually, the KMA doesn't give such information, correct?
No, and this is what to know. I mean, they will give forecasts on like seasonal temperatures on average, but the KMA actually stopped giving information on the rain season, forecast for the rain season. They did in the past, but because the climate change has really led to fluctuations in precipitation. There are just too many variables, so they stopped giving that rain season forecast information in 2009.
Okay.
Also, neighbors, China and Japan, they don't give that information either. So if you see like citing Chinese Meteorological Administration or Japanese weather authorities, that's also likely false.
Okay. Now we know. We're in the know. Thank you. Well, up next, let's talk about this court ruling involving an apartment resident who assaulted a delivery person.
Right. So Busan Regional Court this week found a man in his 50s guilty of obstruction of business, assault, coercion, and threats, fining him 3 million won.
Okay, well, we need the details.
Right. So this is a local story, happened in Dongdaegu district on March 10th.
Okay.
So a delivery person in her 50s, she was just doing her job. He apparently approached her, started accosting her. So like 시비 걸어. Began even moving her packages to outside the apartment building.
What? Okay.
Right. So according to court records, this man was intoxicated. He had been drinking. And he was apparently waiting for the elevator so he could go home. But then he saw the delivery woman waiting for the elevator. And yes, this has all happened to us before where you see the elevator, you're waiting for an elevator and it stops on the 25th floor, the 22nd floor, so on and so forth. And he just kind of assumed she was the reason that he couldn't go home as early as he wanted to, that he was waiting. So the woman called her husband, who was also delivering packages nearby.
Right.
When the husband came, it was between the two men that the altercation happened. The defendant, the drunken man, punched the husband in his stomach he pushed or punched with his stomach and said, "I'll make sure that you guys won't be able to work here."
Pushed him with his stomach like he was...
Like Yeah. So that's the kind of the accosting, the physical assault, and even threats. So the defendant argued that he wasn't serious. It was just a drunken remark. He wasn't blackmailing them. But the judge didn't see it that way, given the positions, and it seemed threatening enough, thus the guilty verdict.
Yes. Well, justice served. Let's be nice to the delivery people. And no, being drunk is not a defense, in my opinion. Okay, let's move on. The impact of the Middle East crisis is hitting seemingly everything, including the local bathhouses?
The local 목욕탕s. Right. So neighborhood bathhouses have been hit hard by the Middle East crisis. This is kind of seemingly random. You're like, really? But if you think about it, they need to use a lot of fuel to keep the waters warm. Right. already these bathhouses have seen their energy bills, and we're just talking your small neighborhood ones, not the big spas.
Right.
But even those small ones, up to 3 million won per month. And here's the thing, you gotta keep that water warm regardless of whether there's one person in the tub or 20.
Oh no.
Right? So some bathhouses have started to cope by shortening their hours of operation.
Okay. Well, for many of us, these bathhouses are kind of, in the lines of like nostalgia or like maybe a once in a while kind of activity. However, I know some people, it's like their way of life. They go every day.
Right. And for some, it is kind of like a leisure activity, but others, it's a necessity.
Yes.
Because let's think about that. And we kind of came to this realization during COVID-19 when there were mass infections coming out of bathhouses.
Right.
And we're like, well, why don't we shut them down? Because people need to wash themselves. For example, if they live in 고시원, these very cramped single room, single quarter housing, they don't have showers, they need to go there. Or those who work in shifts coming from early morning, late night shifts, like from traditional markets. So for some, it's also a community. For especially the elderly, an important social role.
Yes.
But raising the prices isn't an option because if you think about it, if your clientele, they live in 고시원, then they're probably not going to be able to even afford that 1,000, 2,000 won increase, especially if it's on a regular basis. So it's a small facet, but this is an area that affects more economically or socially vulnerable groups, so definitely something to consider.
Right, and that's here domestically. Bathhouses in Japan, they've also taken a hit too.
Where it is also a very big part of the culture. Similar situation, a bathhouse in Japan recently put up a post on their social media page saying, please refrain from keeping the shower running for a long time or using too much bath water. Which it's such a hard ask when you're
in a bathhouse.
Literally a bathhouse.
Yes.
So some of the older mom and pop hot springs are also shutting their doors because about 96% of Japan's crude oil, that comes from the Middle East.
Oh, yeah.
And that's been shut down by the Strait of Hormuz shutdown. So that really leaves them vulnerable to the current crisis.
Yes. All right. A facet that we may not have thought about. Now we know. Moving on, let's talk about Korean tourism, which has hit an all-time high.
Right, so that's for the first quarter, the first 3 months of the year. 4.76 million visitors came to South Korea. That's according to the Ministry of Culture, Tourism, and Sports. This is the highest figure for any Q1. Last month, even 2.06 million people came to Korea. That is the biggest monthly figure.
Okay.
So you're wondering, well, what happened last month? Well, the BTS concert in Gwanghwamun for one, although it is not responsible for the 2 million, of course, but still. The ministry evaluated this because this came in spite of the Middle East crisis, right?
That's true.
Attributed this to active efforts by the public and the private sector to attract tourists, but of course, the global popularity of Korean culture, including BTS.
Well, let's look at the breakdown.
So the biggest group was from China at 1.45 million for Q1.
Yes.
Japan almost, but not quite, 940,000. Taiwanese visitors, 540,000. We saw also therefore equal growth across these major markets. Taiwan, though, saw the biggest increase at 37.7%.
Right.
Also, long-distance travelers from the U.S. and the European Union grew collectively to 690,000, showing this diversification in the K-tourism market.
Yes, and we want to make sure that everyone benefits.
Here. Yes, everyone, but also here.
Yes.
So not just Seoul, but for other regions too.
Yes.
Here. So cruises, therefore, are a major facet because there are no cruise ports in Seoul.
Yes.
So Busan, Jeju, and Incheon cruise ships saw an increase as well, increase of 53% almost. Also, entries via regional airports increased by almost 50%. Therefore, visits to non-Seoul regions went up by 34.5% in 1 year. Also, they're very satisfied. And we do want that because then they do tend to come back.
Right.
And also spend more money and all that. It's an economic issue.
It is.
Satisfaction rate coming at 90.8
Right.
points.
And that's high. And I was thinking, like, even if you don't come back, you'll spread the word at least.
Exactly.
Like, Busan was amazing.
Post on your social media, all that.
All right. Well, speaking of the impact of K-culture, a K-pop star is one of the most influential figures in the world now.
Right. So Blackpink's Jennie made it onto Time Magazine's 100 Most Influential People of the Year list. She is the only Korean.
Okay.
So she was, of course, in the artist category. Jennie made history last year when her solo album, Ruby, saw 3 tracks enter into the Billboard Hot 100 chart simultaneously. So that is the first ever for a K-pop female solo artist.
Okay, well, we want to hear the glowing, stuff. What did Time Magazine say about Jennie?
So what is the review? Well, American musician Gracie Abrams, Grammy nominee, she introduced Jennie in this blurb. Quote, what makes Jennie a true star is that even in her quiet moments, she possesses the same kind of undeniable presence that cuts through all the noise, and she carries that with kindness and warmth. Right, so it's a glowing review.
Yes.
Also, though, yes, again, she's the only Korean national, but some Korean Americans made the list this year. Musician Anderson Paak and snowboarder Chloe Kim. Who are the other names? Well, 100 Most Influential People. U.S. President Donald Trump, selected again. State leaders, Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi, Chinese President Xi Jinping, and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yes. Influential. Well, we are going to call it a wrap on Waga Waga for this season.
Ooh, will I be back?
I don't know.
Will they have me back?
I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see Monday. Well, thank you, Haley, for a great season, and we'll check in with you Monday.
Yes, bye-bye.
All right, everybody, it's time to take a little break. This is You and Me by Jennie.
You know I gotcha. You know that I got you like that. Ain't nobody gonna have your back like the way I do. Love it, just say you do. You know you got me. Everything you do, everything you did, everything I wish I was with makes me feel alright. I'm just saying so. I really like it. Nothing in the world can make me feel the way you do the things you do. I really like it. Nothing in the world can make me feel the way you do the things you do. I love you and me, dancing in the moonlight. Nobody can see, it's just you and me tonight. I love you and me, dancing in the moonlight. Nobody can see, it's just you and me tonight. Look at you, now look at me. Are you ever gonna find someone like this? Look at you, now look at me. Are you ever gonna find someone like this? You're the reason my heart skips, drops. Just a little touch, my world stops. Finally, I know that you're mine. I don't wanna fall, don't wanna play this game of love. Oh, there's nowhere to hide. I really like it. Nothing in the world can make me feel the way you do the things you do. I really like it. Nothing in the world can make me feel the way you do the things you do. I love you and me, dancing in the moonlight. Nobody can see, it's just you and me tonight. I love you and me, dancing in the moonlight. Nobody can see, it's just you and me tonight. Look at you, now look at me. Are you ever gonna find someone like this? Look at you, now look at me. Are you ever gonna find someone like this? Ever gonna find someone like this?
I don't care about your first love, this should be your last one. Nothing like your last one. You look better on me, that's fashion. Won't block your shots, lights, camera, action. Never been a love me or a love me not thing. Every pedal better tell him better not change. I love you, I love me a lot. Wait, which one I love better? Better off not saying.
Welcome to BEFM.
어서오세요. BFM입니다.
An all-new BEFM is coming to you with a new season on April 20th. Meet the all-new For My Busan every day from 4 to 6 p.m. Join our Talk Avengers for their chats, a playlist created by you, the listeners, and the producer on the ground to meet the people of Busan. See you at 4 p.m.
주님, 주문하신 키즈 프로그램 추가해드렸습니다.
Bring your kids to BFM Kids Club. Watch your kids' English skills grow as they have fun with storytelling, sing-alongs, and much, much more. Every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Come play in English.
다음으로 올스타 잉글리시 준비됐습니다.
Every Friday at 6:08 p.m. A new and improved All-Star English with a new guest and new contents every week.
더 다양해진 이야기, 신선해진 구성으로 여러분의 일상에 즐거움을 더해드립니다. 끼룩!
BFM's new spring season comes to full bloom on April 20th. Fill your day with BEFM. For details, check out the BFM website.
It's time for Global Affairs. Guess who's back? 안교수님's back.
I'm back.
I love your choice of black and yellow because today our text topic is what's your OOTD? I get it.
What is OOTD?
Here we go. Is it like a male-female thing? It could be. OOTD, outfit of the day.
Outfit of the
like
day.
what are you wearing? But because we have
I am
viewers.
43 years old and I have learned something new today.
Oh really?
I've never heard that before.
OOTD. It's common on social media.
Ah.
Oh, that's you're like, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Or we had a guest in hour number one. Casey had the same exact look. He's just like looking at me, and I saw the slight panic. Like, why are you throwing me under the bus? Like, why you're asking me a question that I don't know the answer to? Yeah. So if you can describe what you're wearing to our radio listeners or people who are not watching us on YouTube, how would you describe what you're wearing?
I would describe what I wear most days as sort of semi-formal. Mm-hmm. So it's almost a suit, but I generally don't wear a jacket.
Right.
So I don't really like wearing jackets. And even if I go to an event, I'll take the jacket off straight away.
Take the photo and you're like, okay, it's off.
Pretty much.
Yes.
So I always wear like suit pants. Oh, pants. I'm so American now.
Trousers.
Suit trousers.
Yes.
And a shirt and a tie. But the tie is always some sort of animal related tie or some sort of
It's not
slightly
always
unique.
dogs. It's just animals generally.
It's maybe 90% dogs. But I have some hedgehogs. I have a hedgehog tie. I have a kangaroo tie.
Have we seen that one? I know
they're very small kangaroos.
Okay.
But maybe I'll wear that next week.
Okay.
And what else do I have?
You have a vast tie collection.
I have a penguin tie with penguins on.
Okay.
So that's, for me, my outfit of the day would really be what tie.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's like for, I guess, for females, like the accessories.
Right.
Yeah, like our earrings or,
and so
necklace
there's two reasons I do this.
Okay.
First one is at university. When I wear different ties, the students like to sort of guess what tie I'm going to wear.
I see.
And so it sort of engages a little bit more with the students.
Sure.
So it brings down that barrier. But also for more sort of formal business events.
Yes.
Through the European Chamber, for example. You can go to a big event with 200 people and every single man will be there wearing a blue or a black suit with the same color tie.
Yes.
And so my dog ties sort of set me out a little bit
it
from
makes
that
you
as well.
Stand apart, stand out.
I stand out.
Yes. I love it, the ties. Well, thank you for explaining your OOTD. Now you know.
Now I know.
We're going to jump into global affairs. It's the final one of the season, so I hope it's good.
Oh, it is good.
It is?
Hold on to your seats, people.
All right. Hold on for the ride.
No, so, of course... Oh, yes, you're going to be disappointed now.
I built you up so much. Yes.
No. Of course, well, I've been here, not the past couple of weeks, but before that, everything has been focused on Iran and the Middle East and sort of on the current issues and what is happening sort of up to date.
Yes.
So I thought we'd take a little bit more of a look at the general history of the region.
I love history. I seriously
so me too.
do. Okay.
I like history, especially modern history.
Yes.
just before we start, though, of course, when we're talking about the Middle East, to bring everything together in 10 minutes
It's like impossible.
is going to be a little bit of a challenge.
Right,
so
right,
it's going to
right.
be a very sort of brief, very simple overview of some of the main events.
Okay.
Sort of leading us up to how we've got here
The
today.
highlights.
The highlights.
I like. Okay.
Yes. So, as we know, at the moment, a lot of focus on the Middle East. So even in the news today was about the ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel.
Sure.
Of course, Iran-US negotiations hopefully still going on there.
Right.
But also with Pakistan as the mediator. So I've had a few students as well at university asking me, why is Pakistan the mediator? So usually we hear of like Saudi Arabia and the
Right.
other states, Oman, Qatar,
Yes.
these being the sort of mediators. Why not? Why Pakistan for this one?
Good
so I thought
question.
we'd look a little bit at that.
Okay.
So we'll take a little look at the history. But for this one, we're going to go back quite far in
How
history.
far back?
Oh, hundreds of hours.
Ooh, hours?
No, hundreds of years.
Yes.
So I was watching, a few months ago, there was a YouTube, it's not really a podcast, it was just a vlog, I guess, by one of the Harvard professors, who I think is
Harvard.
actually from the Middle East. I know it's an American university, but
We'll make do
sometimes
today.
we have to
Yes.
we have to suffer. But there's a professor called Masood, and he's sort of an expert in the Middle East.
Okay.
And he was going over some of these questions that people had asked, and he was saying, what are some of the most important events in history for this region?
Okay.
And some of them he was talking about, so he started with the Ottomans. So when they defeat Constantinople in the 1450s.
Wow,
and
that's
then they-
years ago.
Yes. And they rename it as Istanbul. This was really the start of the Ottomans really controlling that whole region, including the Arab region,
Yes.
for about 500 years.
Yes.
So this was really a major event. Also, 1492. I think most people know 1492 as...
Yes. Christopher. No.
Yes.
Yeah, Christopher Columbus.
When Christopher Columbus
Yes, supposedly
discovers
just
the Americas,
yes.
under the Spanish flag. But actually, 1492 was also a significant year. It was effectively the end of what is the Spanish, excuse my pronunciation, Reconquista. I can't speak Spanish. But the Reconquista was basically, again, 700 years of sort of on and off conflicts, battles between the Catholics in Spain and against mostly the Muslims, but also later on against the Jews as well.
Yes.
Forcing all of those groups out of Spain.
Right.
And so we have these big movements, big changes happening in Europe and the Arab world around this sort of period.
Okay.
Then a little bit later on, 1798, this is when the French first invade Egypt. And this one very symbolic, as this is the start of European colonialism.
Right.
Not in the rest of the world, but really in this region.
And when we hear France, we think of this person back in those days, right? Napoleon.
Napoleon.
Yes.
Yes. Oui. Okay. So actually, even though it's just France in one country, basically this is the start of European colonization, like I said, and even up until the Cold War, which then becomes very significant of how the Arab countries perceive the European states. But once they leave, then also the US coming in and things like that. And we'll come back to that in a second.
Sure.
1897, very important one, also was the Zionist Congress. So here we have in this period a big rise of anti-Semitism across Europe.
Right.
And we start to see the first people saying, okay, look, maybe the Jewish people, what we now call the Israelis, they need their own state. And this was one of the first times that they were bringing it, their original homeland was in what is now Palestine.
Right.
So this was really the start of this question of where should the Jewish people be? They should be in what is now Palestine, and basically what is now that contest between the Palestinians and the Israelis.
That's right.
So that was all started then. And then, of course, a few years later, 1908, they discovered oil in the region.
So important.
And this is what really changes everything.
Right.
This is what brings it. especially the British and the French. I mean, they're already in the region anyway. But they really ramp up their ideas. And then the US also comes in a few years later.
Right.
And this is what really changes everything.
That's right. So we went through a whirlwind right now of, historical conflicts over the past several hundred years. And then where does that take us to? So we went through very quickly about 400 or 500 years. And
we
then,
did, yes.
Yes. And I loved it. So where does that take us then to?
So we get the discovery of the oil, but then what we get is, again, the British and the French, they're sort of the ones sort of really controlling this region in terms of the European powers at that time. Now, the French and the British in 1916 under what is known as the Sykes-Picot Agreement. So Sykes was the British, Picot was the French guy.
Right.
They basically, like they did in Africa in the 1880s, which is also very interesting, but we'll skip that for today. That's different. Basically, they redrew the map of the Middle East. So dividing the countries basically where they wanted the borders to be.
That's so, like, when we think of it like in today's terms, though, it's just like, oh, okay, so let's draw a line here. And
basically, that's what it was.
Though, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, what they did was they drew these lines ignoring the different sort of ethnicities, the different religious groups, and sort of carving them up, putting the wrong groups with each other.
Right.
And that's also another big reason why today we get a lot of conflict. Also, like I said, in Africa, this was exactly the same.
Yes.
Putting different tribes together. And once they decolonized, these different groups are left in the same countries to fight each other.
Right.
Basically.
That's a great point, though, because of all of these, borders that were drawn or redrawn.
Right.
Yes.
So you get a lot of these current conflicts because of that. But then, because of what the Europeans did for 200 or 300 years in the region, when the Europeans start to decolonize in the 50s and 60s, the Arab countries, the Middle Eastern countries, generally they're very happy. But this coincides with the start of the Cold War. And basically, we see the Americans coming in, trying to replace the Europeans.
Right.
And so a lot of the countries see this, and this is why a lot of countries, so for example, Syria, Egypt, Iraq, South Yemen, Libya, this is why a lot of those countries tended more towards the USSR during the Cold War, because the USSR was pushing this idea of anti-colonialism, the more nationalism, whereas some countries, still like Saudi Arabia, in the early years, Iran, so up to 1979, before there was the big revolution. But also Jordan, Israel, Pakistan as well. Generally, these countries were more pro-America.
Yes.
So this is also another big reason why we have this big divide in the region as well.
Right. I wish we had more time, but we have to jump to Pakistan because
it's out of time.
Yeah, we're out of time. Can you believe this is like what history does? We get so into it, and then
So very quickly, I guess we need to wrap up. So why is Pakistan the mediator? Well, Pakistan, it's one of those countries right now where it's seen as much more of a strong neutral country, which maybe we wouldn't really see because Pakistan, it's a main majority Shia country, same as Iran. Okay. But if you go back to 1971, just before the US and China started to normalize relations, actually Pakistan was very integral in making that happen. So the US in 1971 with Henry Kissinger secretly organized some meetings with China to basically build up the summit for 72. And Pakistan was very important, played a vital role in making that happen. So it's neutral, so it has a lot of support from the US, but it borders Iran, wants to see the Strait of Hormuz open. It's a Shia country, so it's seen as quite neutral within the region. If we look at Saudi Arabia hates Iran, so it's unlikely they're ever going to be sort of mediating.
Yes. Well, thank you for taking us through this wonderful history lesson and moving into, of course, why Pakistan is the mediator right now in this current conflict. And we look forward to hopefully seeing you next season.
Oh, we'll
That's a
see.
teaser.
Oh.
Thank you, An교수님. We appreciate it.
See you next week.
Everybody, this was Global Affairs. Will it be the last time we see Professor Andrew Millard? I don't know. Well, we are wrapping up our current season, so we're going to kick it off with a brand new season on Monday, and we're working hard behind the scenes to bring you a bigger and better new season. So please tune in on Monday for that. And in the meantime, I have to say, producer Choi Ye-ji, writers Haley and Sue, thank you. And this is Swim by BTS. Bye, everybody.
I could spend a lifetime watching you swim, swim. This is how it all begins. To swim, swim. I just wanna dive, I just wanna dive.
My world, run away, I still wake up in this map world. Name a place that I can breathe on this map world. Looking like a get it in this bad world, bad world. Don't know how to act, girl. I'm in the deep, tell me where the hell you at, girl. Well, you ain't even gotta love me back, girl. You know that I'm never holding back, girl. Yeah.
So easy to make it so hard. Nights like these, I just wanna get lost. Right here with the moon and the stars. I ain't gotta think, but I think, baby, I just swim, swim. Wanna find off your skin. Swim, swim. I could spend a lifetime watching you swim, swim, swim. This is how it all begins. Swim, swim.
I just wanna dive, I just wanna dive.